And with the ring of the bell by Dr. Jeannie Sinkfield, wife of Rex Sinkfield, the founders of the St. Louis Chess Club, a powerhouse of US chess these days, the US Chess Championships 2025 kicks off. Now today I'm bringing you a couple of crackers. We got Fabi playing against Gregory Oparin, his long-time second. What a crush this was. Then we're on to Levon, oozing class as always. Plus I'll bring you the tournament standings. They're going to play for the next kind of 2 weeks or so. I'll do my best to get you some recaps. But first we're diving in with Fabi. We get ourselves a main line Nimzo Indian. No dodging it with knight f3, so bishop b4, pins, looks to dominate the light squares in the centre here. Fabi plays the classical variation, doesn't want his pawns mangled, or does he? a3, takes, giving up the bishop pair, but going for this control. And now surely you take with the queen. No siree. Fabi puts a little twist on it, and he's got something planned that Oparin wasn't expecting. You know, he knows Fabi's files, right? What he likes to play. Sets up the party hat pawn formation. Look out for one more of those soon. Surely you now take the pawn, and then go for some b5 action. Solidify it. Well, sure, playable, but white can do some nasty stuff. Or set up the big centre and then go for an attack. So there are very, very aggressive lines here for the cost of the pawn. Different game. Instead, we get pawn b6, trying to get the bits out. Now h6, chases back Fabi's bishop. This looks very solid. Pawn e3, castles, and this is where Fabi just brings the fight here. What does he play? Pawn to g4. Absolute lift-off here at the US Chess Championships. It's like watching young Grandmaster Christopher Yu learn to fly at the very same club. What a sight. We now see Queen e8 breaking the pin. By the way, if you try this and then win the pawn, fine, but h4 can be played. Using the g5 pawn now as a hook. Rook and queen are converging here. If knight drops back to cover, well then there's problems here. No queen defense. So it's a very dangerous system. So queen e8 was played. But g5 comes now. I mean, it's a dream attacking position for Fabi. e5, classical chess. Counter in the centre when you're getting attacked on the flank. Plus the king stands here. So Fabi now takes. Less support of that pawn. Pawn recaptures and the final piece comes streaming out. It's so uncomfortable. e4 is played, trying to block out the white queen. But rook g1. Here comes the powerhouse. Bishop b7 and knight h3 opens the rook. Prepares to maneuver the knight. It's beautiful to watch these top guys at work. This is actually one of the top moves. After queen e2, about to enter the danger zone, we don't see the correct follow-up, which is f6. It opens the queen's defense. Sometimes you take control of this g5 square is important, right? Didn't quite say that sentence right. It's the best defense. But okay, you can imagine c4 and then crank and open this diagonal. It can be a smelly move, but this was played. Eyeing the weak c3 pawn, also the undefended knight, pawn defended, and Gregory goes wrong here. Grigory. What should he play? Well, actually, his best is to rotate this guy around. It wasn't played. He goes for the smack bang wallop of spawning the seahorse. Now, it looks kind of cool because you open up the attack here. But look at this for a simple refutation. Takes, and now there are many winning moves. But Fabi goes for this most direct. Sorry, I'm talking rubbish. There aren't many winning moves. There are many winning moves in a minute. There, queen h5 was best. g6 is now played. And this is the moment where you can do what Fabi did, or you can play an absolute smash. We'll go with Fabi's move at the moment. This isn't a real threat, of course. Pawn is pinned. Bishop backs up. And now he plays the move he could have done on the last turn. Can you guess it? Of course you can. It's smash open that king. Absolutely ruinous attack here. Rook g1 threatens mate. How do you stop it? I mean, you just can't bring the rook, right? So that's why the bishop streams out, intercepting, connecting the rooks. But now you get takes here. Sorry, let me turn my WhatsApp off. And after takes of the bishop, you're still threatening mate. Grigory tries rook f7. You take my rook, I take your rook. But then this is the follow-up. Cool and calm, remaneuver this bad boy. And because of that threat of lasering down here, you just can't fight it. You have to start giving up the queen, but then you still get mated. If you try cover a square, give an exchange, we'll steal your check. Takes, let's say, and then you get mated on the back rank. If the knight intercepts, takes, get mated. It's absolutely irrepressible. 27 move, hammering. Great start for Fabi there. Let's jump to this game because I really enjoyed young Andy Woodward, 2590 rated, but so dangerous, right? His star's on the rise, playing the cool and calm, experienced Armenian Lion originally, now plays for the States. And although Levon goes super solid, party hat of his own, the game soon gets rich, strategic. He takes his opponent into the woods here, where 2 + 2 is 5. Could have gone with the other knight, but he drops with this one. Don't want to allow that pawn structure change. So the knight drops back. Best move, saying, hey, you've now got the superfluous knight, fighting for the same square, but Levon's got plans. First just drops back. Preempt some g4 action later. Bishop d2, bishop e7, rook c1. Cool and calm stuff. And now, a queen exchange. Does that make the position drawish? No. There's a lot of fight here. Levon now playing on the dark squares. Knight f4 goes for the bishop bear. Bishop b4 in response. Sorry, knight b4. Getting all mixed up. Bishop e2. And now pawn a5. Solidifying the dark squares. Activating the rook a little. Both players castle. Quick king safety fist bump. Exploded out at the board. Great etiquette. But there's something so much cooler to come. Bishop's now picked up by Andy. But not such a big deal. Look at the pawn structure. All 8 pawns on the board. Very closed position. Knights do well in that sort of thing. And look at that. A rooktangle on the board. Round 1. Genie goes nuts ringing that bell. It's absolute cinema. Everyone's having a great time. It's kicking off, but arbiters call for a bit of hush. Wesley, put your shirt back on. Let's crack on. You need to make that draw against Hans Niemann in the Italian. Game on again once more. Little bit of tickle here, but Andy doesn't go rook a1. He shows intention to fight. You know, if he did that, would Levon keep repeating? No, highly doubt it. He wants to target his weaker opponent, but Andy fights with this one. We see rook fd8, and would you look at that, right? This is just about the only unprotected piece in the white position. Okay, you could argue the pawn too. Watch how Levon exploits that. This is masterful. Takes. Allowing the repair of the pawn structure. Why would you do that? Well, this is his follow-up point. Knight c5. Beautiful understanding of the position, the pawn structure, the nuances of it all. He threatens this mighty fork, and if you take, this is now good for black. Huge invasion, things collapsing, horrible structure. That's game over. So in the game, we see bishop d1, not the best, rook d1 better. But these are such difficult decisions. Now you do give up this square, which doesn't look fun, but Levon doesn't go for that. He coolly and calmly intensifies the pressure on the centre. Excuse me. And again, it comes back to the same themes, right? So in the game, we see knight e2, but headed in the wrong direction. Now takes, pawn recaptures. Do you go with the knight? Well, fine, but then you give this square forever. So Andy tries this, but knight e6, double pressure. Bishop c3, phew, covered, but bishop g5, tickles the rook, then drops back, and there's no rook d1 of course, because the bishop's on the wrong square. You know, you somehow want to transport it here or something. So what to do with the pawn? We see d5 of course, thrusting, takes. You could recapture, but there's huge pressure long term on that pawn. Yes, there's counterplay here, but black's better. So Andy tries this one, giving back the bishops, but looking to simplify and take back on d5, discombobulate the knight, but the problems persist. Knight c1. Absolutely gross. All the pieces on the Etienne back row. Etienne back row is a former top 10 player, by the way, in case you didn't know. This covers some knight hops, but look at Levon now. Bringing in the king, and he's trying to unravel, but he just keeps running into fresh new problems from Levon, like this one. Pawn b5. And what do? Do you take and allow rook takes on d5? Technically the best move according to the all-powerful engine. Andy, though, goes for something different, and it's bishop a2. And we've not seen a bar drop this big since Eminem did 8 Mile. What a terrible line. I'm struggling. Please help me out. This one is defended, but who wants pieces defending other pieces miserably? Blocking in the rook. Levon now goes rook a6 after d6, just covering the only source of counterplay. Really masterful chess. Andy going for a little tactic. You take me, I take you. No siree. Keep the pieces discombobulated, stepping on each other's toes. Don't take this one. Get mated into. Ouchie. So we didn't see that. Knight takes, covers the square, also rotating here. Bishop b1, knight c4, writings on the wall as you can see. Andy's really scrambling, but Levon is fully in control of the situation. The chess that he's playing lately is just out of this world good. Controlled, calm, cool, combination of tactics and positional like this. This line didn't occur. We're in the back cave, but I'm showing why the pawn wasn't captured. King f1 instead. Could go knight d6, but we get this, and now don't take the pawn, or you run into this new tactic here. Sorry, really struggling for my voice this morning. We're in morning time in the UK. These games are played late the night before. You find yourself in this end game, 2 minors versus the rook and a passed pawn. So again, the pawn isn't taken. This time, bishop d1. The knight now jumps back. Knight c5. And we'll whiz through a couple of moves here because Levon shows this amazing understanding here. Let's simplify. Go to this end game where I turn my attention away from the queen side and towards the king side. Look at the switch in the play. And the bishop is so powerful in these endgames because it can laser across both sides of the board. Watch it go to work. You couldn't save that f-pawn. Andy desperately going for the past h-pawn runner. Look at the time difference. 50 minutes ahead for Levon. And here we see resigns. This guy's covered. This guy's running. The knight can't get round and stop without losing itself. It's pure game over. Resigns, Levon wins, Fabi wins, the two big boys, Hans and Wesley make a draw. Those are really my favourites, I'd say, going into this event, right? Hope you enjoyed this one. Speed Chess Championship to come, starting today. Magnus is playing and Ali Reza. Hope you enjoyed. Smash subscribe and I'll see you soon. Cheers.